let's jump to a story that happened over the weekend. This one, it's basically a similar scenario. Dr. Julie Shmuley. Am I saying that name right?
And do you
Schmuel?
learn how to spell?
Shinuel? I don't
Shmuel.
even know.
Yeah,
Schmuel?
she was killed yesterday while walking her dog in Auburn, Alabama. Rashad Dabney arrested and charged. So he has the same sort of expression as this other guy had in his mugshot, with the eyebrows raised and the he's like no remorse, just not even amused being here. Just like this is just another day. This is an everyday thing. And
Yeah.
like I said, the media. There's two stories that happened within like a 3 day span. Similar stories. Nothing from the media, but they'll do 1,000 stories about George Floyd. They'll paint the mural for George Floyd. So we literally have elected people and their constituents, because of the media manipulation, that support criminals. They support illegal aliens in this country. They support essentially illegal terrorists that have joined this country. They don't ever actually support the constituents. Every time I see these mayors talk, whether it's the one in Boston, whether it's the one in Chicago, whether it's the soon-to-be one in New York, they're always talking about some international bullshit. They're always talking about the illegal aliens. They're always talking about what we can do from a humanitarian standpoint. They're always talking about these silly things about how we have to be compassionate for the criminals. Yet when it comes to law-abiding citizens, they will fucking strike them down so quickly. Because what? They should have known better? Oh, these people didn't know better, but you should know better. What kind of bullshit is that? They don't apply logic. They don't apply anything equally to anybody in this country, and all they do is harbor and protect criminals. And like Donald Trump can't just roll up in there and like just get rid of these people. Hey! Just gonna knock down my cable box. Donald Trump just can't get in here and like do something about that. Like he can't arrest these people. Like what standard for arresting these people exists? They will arrest people like Karen Jones for simply being at January 6th and being ushered in by security. But these people who literally put illegal aliens and criminals before their elected their constituents who vote for them to be in office, they're not protecting the Constitution. They're not putting the people first. Why is it so hard to just roll up in there with the fucking military and arrest these people? I know that sounds crazy and maybe overreaching to some, but they're literally breaking the laws. They're being treasonous. I don't think it's crazy. I think it should happen.
I think we need a lot more people that are way, 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 way higher up on the totem pole being arrested. And I think everybody in this audience and on this panel would easily agree with that. Because there's there's a lot of those dudes with that exact look on his face that need to be dealt with. But there's a lot more people that arrested him and let him go on a warning, or refused to press charges, or they, gave him a warning in the courtroom and let him go. And all of those people failed. All of the policymakers that created the system that the lawyers and judges used to do that, they all failed. All of those people have some kind of liability. We have to stop. I am so sick of giving a shit what people think about the words that I'm saying. Like, if I'm wrong, right? But I don't care if you like me as a person when I'm describing. Look at this. We can't have this. All of those judges, all of those lawyers, all of them should have some kind of charges pressed against them. All of the politicians who allowed those laws to get put into place, those people should be arrested by Trump. Or somehow. There's got to be some kind of system. It's crazy because you don't want the government to have the ability to arrest the politicians, but if the politicians are passing laws that say it's not a crime to kill people, depending on what color your skin is, effectively, then
they're already breaking many laws by doing the shit that they do, where they disproportionately give other people a pass. There's so many amendments that they're breaking. There's so many basic laws on the books that they're breaking. They're not following their oath to this country.
And nobody's doing a damn thing about it.
Say that again, Nora?
Newsom just broke a law and nobody's doing anything about it.
Which law did he break? Well, again, he's probably broken many
rezoning laws. That one is in the actual Constitution of California. He can't do that. So he's pushing through on shit that he can't do.
Yeah, I think he's trying, but I don't think it's happened yet.
Yeah, aren't they going to vote
again?
Isn't it going to
be some trying to break the law.
Yeah. Agreed.
Again,
and nobody's doing anything.
I know. There's a laundry
California
list of,
voters are shutting it down.
There's a grocery list of laws that these types of people break over and over again, and we just sit here going, okay. But then, like, if one of us do something, that's it. We're just gonna be like, well, you shouldn't have broke the law there, normal citizen. But when it comes to these government elected officials, it's like they have some sort of immunity. Like, we can't just do anything. Why can't we just do anything? Oh, but what about the optics? Bro, fuck the optics, bro. They care. Yeah. They will use whatever optics they want. That's how they operate. That's why they will take any news story and blow it out of proportion the way that they do it.
Yeah,
they actually...
Right. Thank you, George Soros.
Yeah, thank you. They actually use, and George Soros is doing that. He's putting people in here that'll do this on purpose. They use your desire to avoid negative optics as strategy. Because they do a thing. They do a thing that normally you would like respond to, and in a normal way. But then they created the societal paradigm that says that that's racist and you can't do it. So you second guess yourself. They do that on purpose. That's part of the strategy.
That's what I mean when I say like they're weaponizing our tolerance and humanity against us, and it's like a catch-22. Because like what do we do about it? Hello, Eternal Spartan. What do we do about it? I mean, it's so difficult because we not only do we have to think what should we do about it, we have to think about the potential ramifications down the line of what we're doing being used against us, and like I'm kind of tired of thinking about that because. You know, they're going to use whatever they want against us anyway. You know, like Donald Trump shouldn't arrest Hillary Clinton. What if they come back and use it against us? Oh, right, because they just left a bunch of January 6ers to rot in jail without any crimes. They didn't even say what crime most of them did. They just put them in solitary confinement and did not give them their right to a speedy trial. And then they completely gave them cruel and unusual punishment that didn't match. And then they said some people there should be put in jail for 20 years, like Enrique Tarrio of the Proud Boys, even though he literally wasn't even there. So, like, oh, I'm so tired of this. Like, we can't do this because it'll be used against us. No, the left will use whatever they want against us anyway for them to win.
And so they have most people, right, in the automatic. Like their autopilot system is trying to worry about the ripple effects of what if I actually say this. But what we're trying to get people to do is shift that a little bit. Consider the ripple effects of if the people around you see you cower to it. What kind of chilling effect does that have out on everybody around you versus if you just be like, no, that's not happening. We're not doing it. I don't care if they are wrong. We're not doing that too. The reason why I consider us better than them is partly because we don't do that, you know? And that doesn't mean die with your principles clutched like pearls. It means go back to the actual system where they are like, where is the root of them violating the law? It's not the conversation usually that you're talking about right in the immediate moment. It's usually way further back. And if you actually or if you as the individual, you as the American citizen, you as the patriot, you as the, call it a modern day revolutionary, if you're not willing to actually look at that and hold these people accountable, then, maybe you're on the sidelines and keep cheering. That's awesome. I'm not insulting it, but the front lines, the front lines are the people saying, no, we're built on a system of morals and values and we're going back to those things. Damn it.
And Bush said, ignoring January 6th entirely, they had Trump arrested. Yeah, they actually arrested their political opponent, and they lied about how much his actual estate was worth. So, like, they will already do this shit to us, even if we don't do anything to them. So, like, we should, especially since it's actually legitimate what we're doing. And and the problem too is like this goes back to the media, is like the media is on their side clearly based off the way they report this stuff. They're in the business of reporting these things, the Hegelian dialectic as we talk about, the division, putting people in catch-22s, making people afraid of action. Like this is all the type of shit that they want to do. So knowing that, like it makes it very people are very hesitant to do anything, but like Donald Trump should just go on TV and read from a fucking scroll like he's a goddamn, like he's a Merlin or something, and be like, this is why we're arresting all these people. Of course, he's going to arrest them first, unexpectedly, but then he's going to go on TV, a nice press conference. He's a marketing man. He wants to do it nice and sharp at 8 o'clock. He wants to get the most viewers because that's the type of person he is. And he's going to read a big scroll as to why he's arresting them. And you should just like to mandate these broadcasting networks air this shit too. Like, fuck it. I mean, like, we need the people to know they're going to use the media against us. We need to put that shit on broadcast TV, every channel, and anyone who's watching those fucking channels is just forced to watch it unless they turn their TV off. And just be like, yeah, we're arresting these people because they're doing this to us. They're literally breaking the laws. They're harboring criminals and illegal people in this country over their citizens. They seem to never care about their citizens. They never even talk about the citizens. All they ever do is talk about criminals and illegal aliens. It's all they literally ever talk about. Every time I go to Twitter, every time I put New York One on, it's always talking about how we can protect illegal immigrants. Every time I walk into my fucking bank, they got New York One on. And it's always about, oh, the illegals in this city, we're putting them here, blah, blah, blah. And it's all throughout Europe, too. It's all in these other countries. They're trying to do it to Japan now. You can't tell me this is all just an accident. This is not an accident. It's a fucking carefully crafted plan. And when you say it's an accident, it gives them an excuse, and people go back to putting their heads in the sand, assuming we just have incompetent people in office. We do have incompetent people in office. That's the plan. There's no better way to destroy a system than have retards running it. Let me just read this 2 Loud Rumble rant from R. Sergeant. It's like this sending National Guard into cities to quell crime. I guarantee you at some point a kid is going to attack the National Guard, and after he is put down, it'll be all over the news. Yeah, and that's why it's so important. Like, if we're going to have, like, the new media sphere basically play defense for the truth, as they should be doing, then they need to be out there, and they can't be wish-washy like, oh, yeah, I just don't think Trump should have did that, man. It's like, after years and years and years and years and years, the last 40 to 60 to 80 years of Marxist policies infecting our country and being allowed to spread this way and protecting criminals, giving excuses to criminals, making citizens live in fear so they can beg the government to protect them. Please, government, please. I want my family and friends to stop being murdered by people who should have been in jail for 25 plus years instead of being let out 14 times. Please, government, please save me. And when you get on your knees and beg and kiss their feet enough, you know what they'll do? They'll fucking tell you that they're gonna save you. They'll put you in a room, and then all of a sudden you get your heads chopped off like chickens waiting to go, be served for dinner. That's all they ever do to you. We continue to be like, let's trust these criminals that are destroying our life. They gave us their word. Right? So let's keep trusting them. No, we can't fucking trust them anymore. Fuck them. They have to be punished for things that they've done. And that's that. They continue to do what they do because they never ever get punished for the shit that they do to us. All this time, all this doing whatever corporations want to do, going along with these corrupt businesses, and then on the backside, essentially, pushing Marxism, and then the businesses act like they're just making a smart financial choice. But we've seen in the last 8 years, it's not a smart financial choice. A lot of these companies are losing money, and they've made it very clear they're willing to lose money to push these Marxist tactics. And now that we know all this, now that that's blown open and their little plans, they don't have any more cover stories for their bullshit, it's time to act accordingly.
Yeah. And we are not yet to the point where we're at like the communist tip, where the system has collapsed and the only people that we can look at for answers are the ones who were paid with now useless money, and then we go take them out, and then now we're the serfs that don't know how to farm that are starving out in Russia. We're not at that point. We're seeing it coming. We're seeing it already in there. We're far from the only people pushing back against it. So I'm not, we definitely need to be vigilant, but I'm far from a black pillar. I'm not a doomer. It's not
I'm
like
not
it's
a black
inevitable.
pillar either. I do think at some point people will pass that point of no return and wake up, but it's taking a lot longer than I want it to take.
Agreed. I think people are a lot heavier asleep than I ever realized they were, and then even the ones that when they're starting to wake up, they're so far away from knowing enough to be able to put the pieces together that, some of them go back to sleep.
But it's like
I've
what
even
you
gone
were
back
saying,
to sleep
though,
a couple times, you know what I mean? But
you can't run away from, like you said, once one person stands up, the other person stands up. If one person sits down, then the other person who's sitting down doesn't stand up. So a lot of that energy is infectious. Momentum is infectious. So if if like whenever I'm at the park talking to the basketball homies about this stuff, we keep it cordial and we don't yell at each other. But like when something happens that I think is very, that's known and they don't see it, I show it to them and they're like, oh, because like I said, the mainstream media is not going to show it to them, and that's what most people are trained to watch, the mainstream media. The mainstream media has fooled them into thinking online news is always a far right honeypot. But they need that veil needs to be cracked for the normies, and that doesn't mean like all of them are going to just agree with like online news. But once the veil is broken, then they will be more open to seeing the other side, and that veil is not broken yet because I think the messaging from the new media sphere is not. I don't know if it's what they're used to, so it's hard for them to break through that veil. But I do think at some point
it's not packaged the same.
Well, let's look at the transgender example, for example. Like I think the average American is against that, but because of the way the media hides these stories, and the average person doesn't see it, they don't think it's happening. They think it's like one random instance that the right is overhyping. But once they started to see some of this stuff happening, in the schools and, during the COVID stuff, a lot of people started getting exposed to this, the Loudoun County and, in Virginia. Once those stories started to become more national, I think people started going, oh, okay. And I do think that was one of the things that helped swing the election in some ways. And you're going to start to see more stuff like that. So right now, yes, I guess I do sound black-pilled, but I do think at some point there's going to be a eureka moment for most normies. And that doesn't mean they're all going to come to our side, but it means that they're going to start to consume things differently. Look how long it took for people to go from cable to streaming services. They're finally learning streaming services. It just like 5 years ago, people were still overwhelmingly watching cable. And a lot of people in our sphere are like, oh, cable's dead, cable's dead. Cable wasn't dead, but now it is dead. So people are being forced to go onto these streaming services more. And the more they're going to be forced to go on these streaming services, the more they're going to consume news that's part of these streaming services, whether that's YouTube, whether that's Rumble, whether that's Twitch or Kick or whatever the hell. They're going to be more into the rhythm of being online and finding these information. You can click recommended stories, you can find random links. This is why it's important to tag your stuff correctly. So you could lead people down these paths. Before YouTube got their ridiculous algorithm, people used to get led down the conspiracy path, which is part of the reason why YouTube started putting in algorithms to cancel that shit out. So the better that you are at doing this stuff, the more that people are forced to be online, the more that they're going to be exposed to this stuff, the more that the veil might start to come down. So I don't know when that point's going to be, but I think they think that forcing people to their streaming services is going to help them. I think it's going to hurt them because now it's going to make people more regularly online. Hello, Mad Stork. No quiet part today, so I guess we'll go a little bit long. That's also because older people are dying and they were the cable watchers. That's true as well. And a lot of people who are obsessed with the mainstream media and their narratives are also older people, and they've trained the millennials to be engrossed in that culture as well. And now once that tide starts to shift, where the millennials who have been, the boomers have wronged us, and the Gen Z people who just naturally grew up on the internet, once that starts to trickle down, as long as we are capable of holding our ground and actually pushing the line a little bit, like there has been some line pushing with Gen Z. I know people like to shit on Gen Z, but they're definitely more, I wouldn't say conservative, but they're not like woke like some of the late millennials are.